Welcome to Fox Valley Today. My name is Anne Vickery. I'm your host. Joining me today from a gym in Minooka called Rock Steady Boxing is Kenji. Kenji, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you.
Only one name, huh? That's just who you are.
Kenji, that's
Kenji,
it.
that's all we need to know today. And Kenji is originally from California, married a local gal from down around the Lisbon, Morris area, Morris, Newark, Lisbon, that area there, and came back and started a gym in Minooka. And one of the reasons that this interested me so much is they do so much work with Parkinson's patients. And of course, as we all age, Parkinson's becomes a very real possibility. Parkinson's is more prevalent in men, is that right,
That's
Kenji?
correct, yes.
And so anyway, that's kind of what this program is going to be about today. If you know of someone who has Parkinson's or you're suffering from Parkinson's, this program could be very, very important to you. Not only that, anytime you're working out, you're getting better for yourself. So Kenji, thank you very much for coming up. This is kind of a hike for you to come up here, up to Plano, Illinois, to do this. But let's talk a little bit about your background and what brought you to the point of working with Parkinson's patients. But before we start that, I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
When people get Parkinson's, what kind of symptoms do they exhibit?
Usually it starts with a tremor, or they have some little problems with motor control. They might not be able to sign their name as good, or their foot will drag, or it affects everyone different, but it's usually, from what I hear from all the patients, it's been, and all of our clients, it's been the tremor.
Kind of just a shaking and...
Just a slight shake, and they go to the doctor, and most doctors right away say, oh, it's just age, or it's just a body tremor, and they try to give them some kind of a medication, and it doesn't work.
Sometimes, is it the head too? The head shakes a little bit?
A little tiny bit, or it could, like I said, it could be something with the leg though, like their leg will lock up, their back foot, or something just off, and they'll check for a stroke or something, and then all of a sudden, it has to get to the right doctor, and then someone will notice it, and then they go to a neurologist, and then they find out.
And neurologists are usually pretty quick on doing it.
Yeah, especially like around here, there's some really good doctors that.
Is there medication that people can take for?
There is medication, but the problem with the medication is it has bad side effects. Some of it has side effects, but also you can only take so much of it and then it stops working.
Yeah, so it's one of those things that as your disease progresses, the
higher and higher doses.
Right, higher doses, which begin to really have side effects on your system.
Correct.
So anyway, you are a trained fighter, boxer?
Kickboxer, MMA fighter, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, black belt, yes.
So all of those kind of sports that take a tremendous amount of core strength to perform.
All we work on is core strength, balance, and movement.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what brought you to the part of working with Parkinson patients?
Okay, well, I worked at a gym in LA called Fortune Gym. I was a trainer there, and right when we were getting married, the owner got diagnosed with cancer. So I had to take over like almost all the duties there. I opened it up and I did everything. I started doing everything. I learned how to do it. At the same time, I found out that my father-in-law had Parkinson's, and I really wasn't familiar with it, just besides the shaking. I didn't know much about it. And so like I started to see the effects on him and started to see him deteriorate. And I thought, wow, there's got to be something it could be done about that. And the guy that I was at the gym that owned the gym, he worked out the whole time he had cancer. I mean, he was going through chemo, radiation, everything, and he had his operation.
That had to be a struggle.
It was a struggle for him, and it was some days I told him, man, he goes, don't tell me, just help me out, just do it. And I said, okay. Just did what he said, because I mean, he wanted me to help him box, I boxed. That's what he wanted me to do. So, he paid me, and that's also, I was a good friend of mine. And so, but I watched him get through this pretty amazingly. They told him he was going to be in the hospital for a month. He might need a nurse. He was back in the gym in a week.
Really?
Yes, and he was just determined. And anyway, it's been 4 years now, and he's cancer-free. But I thought, wow, if someone could just do that for even if you're just getting older. And so Becky, my mother-in-law, sent me a video of this place called Rock Steady Boxing, and they were teaching Parkinson's people how to box. And they were talking about how it helped, and I'm like, wow. I already know how to box.
Right.
I'm a trainer. This is what I did. I was a strength and conditioning coach there. I trained world champion fighters and actors and actresses, and I know what I'm doing. I've done this for years. I've been in that business. I mean, I've been doing it for myself for about 40 years.
Okay.
So I know what I'm doing. I know how to train myself and other fighters, and I thought I can do it. So I called them up, and they told me that it was like a year waiting list to get on.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, but I said, hey, I live pretty close. They're in Indiana. I said, I live pretty close. I'd be willing to come down, and I don't have to worry about just the boxing part. I just want to learn the Parkinson's part because I already know all the other stuff. And they said, oh, we'll put your name on the list. So in a month, they called me.
No.
And I went down there, and I got trained. I worked with all their Parkinson's. They had 200 on one day, from in a wheelchair to fully mobile. And I couldn't believe it. So at the very beginning, when we were sitting down in the classroom, they show a video, and they show a guy coming in on a walker, and he looks horrible, and he's shaking. And they go, do you guys know who this is? We said, no, we never just got here. And then they go, Tom, can you stand up? And the guy sitting next to me, this young, big guy, that was him. He goes, that was me 8 years ago, before I found Rock Steady Boxing.
Really?
And
so
then,
the program has been in place that long?
A little bit longer, I think. And I worked with Tom just for a little bit because I wanted to work with other patients that were worse, so I can get more of a feel for it. He could shoot basket. I mean, you would not know it now if he didn't tell you. I mean, it was pretty incredible, the difference. Not only, but his attitude, he wasn't so depressed, because a lot of them get really depressed, people with Parkinson's.
Because there is some kind of, it's not just a physical thing.
No.
It is kind of the brain breaking down.
Yeah. And so exercise already brings it up anyway.
Because it raises the oxygen level.
Yeah, raises your oxygen level, gets your endorphins going, gets your body flowing, gets everything working better. You know, just in a good play, it helps them. So I talked to these people, I did that. And then Pete, my father-in-law, he needed to retire. He was working in LA, and he had to retire because his Parkinson's was getting bad.
After you hear about this program, you find out that someone you're very close to has Parkinson's.
Correct. And so I decided, he said they were moving back to Illinois, and I had moved here. I moved here over a year with my wife, and then they came, and the next day after they came, I started training him.
Really?
Yeah, I've trained him in the garage, actually.
So, and I know your wife's family, Pete and Becky. How far had the disease progressed by the time you got to him to work with him?
He was shaking a lot. His back foot was dragging. He was having balance problems. He was falling over at company functions. That's why one of the reasons why he was retiring. It was getting bad.
It was catching up with him quickly.
Yeah, quickly. And so I started working with him, and I started trying to have him jump rope, and he used to just be able to row the rope over and then just walk over it. That's what I do. I get people, the Parkinson's people or older people, to just go like this and then walk over it, and then go like this and walk over
and
it.
But just keep up some kind of motion.
Yeah.
Okay.
But keep up the pace and then get used to going over it. And then he kept working at it. Now he can just do 5 minutes like nothing. 5
minutes. And how many jumps are in about 5 minutes?
I couldn't even tell you that, but
jumping rope is hard.
It's hard. It's a full motion. It's cardio. It works your core. It works your balance. It works your footwork. You keep on the balls of your feet. I mean, and a lot of people think you got to jump. You don't jump. You try to go as little as possible.
Yeah.
You got to have the hand-eye coordination. It's perfect. It's a perfect exercise, especially for boxing.
So how long did it take him to work up to that?
I'd say a couple of months, like 3 months, I think, for him.
Really?
But he got it. And then he could get it, and then it got to be where I could do 199 jumps in a row without, I remember he got to 99, and then he messed up. He's like, like a couple times. And then he started doing it, and then it just started getting better and better. And then I started making him do combinations, because Parkinson's brings you in, makes the people like this. And instead boxing makes you reach out.
Okay, so when you're starting that program, you're making them do this, so their hands are extending out as they do that.
Yep.
And because Parkinson's does draw people into doing more like this, kind of curling up a little bit.
Like
so from the jumping the rope to what's the next step?
Well, I mean, every day I started jumping rope, and then I would set up these ladders, and so you just roll it out. It's a roll-up ladder. It's a workout ladder. And I started doing footwork drills, exactly like I do for a boxer. Same things like this, in, out, side to side. And I make them do it slow. You know, very slow.
Just slow, just so
to
they're
do it.
lifting their legs.
I want them to
legs.
move their feet, lift their legs, get used to doing it. It's like almost you have to retrain the brain.
Okay.
But just like it's, to be honest with you, you have to do it for everyone now, because younger people are just constantly looking down, texting, so it's the same thing.
It's the truth,
It
Kenji.
is.
They are. They're all down like this.
They hunch over and they have really bad posture.
Right,
and
they do.
And they're about to fall. So I have to get everyone to go back, and I get them to walk. So I get them to do these, and I set up these little hurdles, and I make them step, over, stop, step over, stop, step this way, sideways, lift up your leg, and stop and put it down.
So what you're doing is you're not only strengthening them, but you're getting that brain so that it is getting interactive with right, left, forward, back, right, left,
and
whatever way.
Pick up your leg.
Pick up your leg.
Because as people get older or they get lazier, they stop picking up their leg and they'll drag their feet. Yeah. Even young people get lazy. They won't pick up their feet. They'll just drag their foot, or they'll just barely do it. Or instead of going, pick it up, they'll put their foot like us to the side, and then it gets caught in something and they fall. And like, you know, I had to retrain everything. So I started doing that, and then I do these little boxes where you step on a box, step up on a box, step on a box. And I got that, and then I start getting them in the boxing footwork, move in and out, and then combos, stop. I tell you, so I'll go like this, boxing stance. All right, forward, 1, 2, backward, 1, 2, and they throw punches, and I call it combos, and I make them do it in a line.
So you're making that brain constantly interact. It's not like sitting on a bicycle where you're doing that repetitive thing over and over and over.
And the problem with the bicycle is too, you're not working on your balance. See, like a lot of people.
Well, yeah, you are in a way. You keep from falling off.
Well, but not on that a bicycle on the road.
Right.
But a bicycle in the gym.
Right.
You're not. It's stable. Stable platform, stable surface. It's not going to do you as good. Just like the treadmill. When you walk, it's different. Like I tell them, just walk. I tell all my clients this, and I did this in LA. I fought 27 times in LA, and I never ran. We did sprints, but most of the stuff I did was walking and hiking and hills and stuff, because you don't need to do that. We're not training for a marathon. I'm trying to train you guys, you know, everyone, to be an athlete.
Just right, to stay strong.
And have a core.
Have a core and be able to, you know, a lot of things that you notice about people, even as they age, is they have trouble just even getting up out of a chair. Again, because they're losing that core strength.
That's one of the things. One of the things that my Parkinson's exercise is sitting down like this into like, especially like a cushion like this. So I make them bend forward like this, and then stand up, straight up, and like a squat, because they lose that. So they want to, and I don't let them use their hands, because they start using their hands. And what happens is when they start to sit down, when you get older, they start to sit down like this, and they look behind them. That's how you fall.
So I'm going to do something on TV, what I would not do. Okay. I'm going to just try to stand up without any assistance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but see how you bend forward? That's how you do it.
Is that the right way?
That's the correct way.
So you bend forward to stand up.
Correct.
Because you're putting the strength on the back of your legs and the heels of your feet.
That's it. That's exactly what I work with them on. I work with them on that nonstop. All these
you know, I just find this so interesting, because as people age, and you know, we're talking more about older people than we are talking about. So I'm going to back up a little bit. If I came to your gym, would I find treadmills and bicycles?
No, none.
So you're going to find boxing bags?
Yeah, we have heavy bags. I have a speed bag. I have a boxing ring. I have a wrestling mat. It's mushy. And I have a lot of ladders. I have kettlebells. I have a lot of small, tiny weights. I don't use heavy weights. You don't need them. I mean, I'm very, very strong. All the athletes that I trained in LA are top athletes, world champions, and big wrestlers and grapplers, and they need strength, but we don't need, you don't need that. We're not bodybuilding.
Okay.
And all those things, like all those machines and everything, they take away all the balance. Like a kettlebell, you have to hold this bell up and balance it and move your body around the bell. It doesn't matter if it's 20 pounds. It's very light, but the work that I make you do with it makes your core strength and all the tiny little muscles that keep you stable work great. And that's what counts, because I train functional strength. Okay. Is what I do. So
let's go back to your Parkinson's patients.
Okay.
We talked about this, you know, the symptoms of what, and so do doctors recommend taking on this kind of exercise?
Yes, Rock Steady Boxing is I mean, so many doctors know. A doctor in Morris, I knew his name right now. He actually, we actually train a number of his patients. He has an office in Morris and then somewhere else down south. But he said that a number of his patients come to us, and he called us on a Friday after hours from his cell phone. He said, I just want to thank you for all that you do and the people that you help. And you know, he recommended me because it has made a difference. I mean, people drive over an hour right now to get to us.
Now, so how many Parkinson's patients are you currently having training?
I think we have about 25, and we have people that
That's
come
huge.
and go. Yeah, they don't all come at once.
No.
Usually between 8 and 12 people come for a class.
Okay, so you have a class at what time for Parkinson's patients?
So I have a class Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8:30 a.m. That's the advanced, like for people that are better fitness level, and then we have the 10:30 is our really big Parkinson's class. That's every level. We have volunteers. I have a lot of volunteers that come and help us.
Now, what about someone who didn't have Parkinson's but was losing their strength and I mean, in some cases maybe have the same kind of symptoms as Parkinson's to the point where they're losing, I'm not saying the tremors,
no,
but the balance and the lack of core strength, and just an ability, losing the ability to get around. Could they join that class?
Yeah, they can join the 8:30 class. I call it the silver gloves, and that's what we have. But look at the actual people that have actually come to that started were women, and they've had the greatest results because they are like, women don't have the strength that men have, but they're technical and they have the dedication. They will come, and we have a couple ladies, but one lady in particular that I'm thinking about that she comes in every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, doesn't miss it, and does stuff on her own. And she had an ankle problem before.
She did.
And now she looks amazing, she feels amazing, she can go up and down stairs, and she's gotten a lot of strength and everything just by doing this.
Right.
And just working on her core, because actually most people over the age of like 25 have a horrible cores. You can look around and see. It just starts to get bigger and bigger, and it's not just working out. Is not just about looks. It doesn't matter about weight. It matters about what's inside and your muscles and everything else.
And people don't. I mean, certainly people go down in clothes size because you tighten up. I mean, but muscle weighs more than fat, so you may not think you're good. You might feel so much better, and you might lose a couple of, let's say, dress sizes. But you may not weigh a whole lot less because your muscle.
We have a couple of people that have haven't really lost any weight, but have gone down 5 pant sizes.
Right.
5. I mean, this is huge.
Yeah, that's right. That is huge. Listen, we have to take a little bit of a break, Kenji. We'll be right back. Talk to you a little bit more about working out, Parkinson's, and gaining that core strength that you may need. All right, we'll be right back.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that! That's disgusting! Oh, poop already! You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Your son wants to get a cat, but you're allergic. Do you A, prepare yourself, B, make the best of it.
C squared equals 25. Good job.
Or C, find a loophole. When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers, but that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Welcome back to Fox Valley Today. I'm here with Kenji from Rock Steady Boxing in Minooka, Illinois. And Kenji, let's talk a little bit about where you're located in Minooka and the hours that you keep.
Okay. Well, actually, the gym's name is K-Fit.
K-Fit, okay.
K-Fit Minooka.
Okay.
Well, we're Rock Steady Boxing Program. That's what we do.
All right.
And so we're Rock Steady Boxing Minooka. But we're located off Twin Rail Drive.
Which is right across the railroad tracks on Ridge Road.
Correct.
Okay.
Right behind Integrity Auto, basically.
Okay.
Everyone, pretty much people around here know where that is,
Okay.
I think. And we're located there, and we are open. We open at 5 a.m. We have classes at 5 a.m. boxing conditioning classes at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. And then my wife has a all women's class. I think it's 7:30. It's on the website. Our website's
What is your website?
www.kfitminooka.com.
Okay, that's easy.
Yep. And then I have an 8:30 Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I have an 8:30 silver gloves class, which is for older people. Could be any age. You know, any age could actually come if they really want. It's pretty funny because actually younger people have come and they try to compete with, you know, Becky and Pat and some of the Parkinson's people I have, and they're like, oh, I'm dying. I'm like, yeah, they've been doing it for a year, so this is a big difference. But this is, so I have that, and that's a good introduction class. And then the actual main Parkinson's class is at 10:30, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. We have classes all day, Monday and Wednesday, Friday up until noon. And then Monday nights I come back, I teach like a kickboxing class for high schoolers and people like that. And I do that on Monday and Thursdays. I do privates on Fridays and sometimes Wednesdays and Tuesdays too.
What's the best way to try to get somebody to encourage them to do something about their failing, the fact that they're getting weaker, and they're becoming very depressed about the fact that they're going backwards? Well, we can't stop the aging, but
no, but you can prolong it and put it off, and there's no sense for you to age. You don't have to be in ill health to age. You can actually be. I'm like kind of experimenting on myself. I want to see how long I can keep up with my training and my functional strength. I want to see how long I could keep up at a top level, at a high level, keep up my sport. How long I can do kickboxing, boxing, and jiu-jitsu and wrestling. Okay, I've taken on right now. I go with anyone. A professional fighter came to Chicago like 3 or 4 months ago to fight, and he called me up, and I went and I wrestled with him for 3 days. Okay, but I got him ready for the fight. And he's much bigger than me, and I wrestled with him when I was younger too. I know him pretty well. He's the top bill guy. The billboards were all over, and I work with him. And I was still as good or better than when I was then.
Really?
So I think anyone could do it. First of all, you have to put the time in, and you have to know that it's not immediate gratification. You get what you put into it, and it takes time. And you're not competing against anyone else but yourself.
It's just yourself.
It's just yourself. And you have to know, like, okay, today I can do this, but next week I'm going to do this, or next month. You have to have short-term goals and long-term goals, and then readjust them. And you have to know, like I write a blog, it's called betterlivedlives.com, Better Live Lives, and I put on there every week about like functional training and other training and just living life and like everything that my life has been blessed. And I like to talk about all the ways that you can make change and all the positive stuff you do. It's in your mindset. You're only old if you want to be old. Because I have a guy that's 78, I have a guy that's 80 in there that do stuff.
But they're trying, and they're like you say, they're pushing back
Yeah.
from all these terrible things that could happen. Because, you know, once you start falling and you're losing that core strength, it's got to be very depressing. Fear starts to keep you from doing anything.
But not only that, you become stuck. Now you're a prisoner of yourself.
Right.
But look at how much easier would it be to just like put down that pie, stop doing this. I hear from people all the time.
Put down the pie.
But like, I hear people all the time. I can't. But holidays, okay, then physical fitness and health is not important to you. Because the biggest investment you can make is in your own health. So really, you can invest 45 minutes a day or an hour a day to walk, and if you can't, and then go to the gym and do some strength training. Really, you can invest that.
Right.
It's not that much. You have time to sit in front of the TV, but you can't walk.
Yeah.
I always hear this all the time. Here's what I hear all the time. I can't, I don't have any time. I have all this. If you really go over everyone's schedule is, you do have the time.
You do have the time.
Especially if it's important to you, and if your health should be important to you, but we take this for granted. And this is why, look, I have people, there's people in there, I have women. I have a lady that should never have come to the 5 a.m. class because it's an advanced class. She was nowhere, I mean, she just didn't belong there. And it was very hard for her. She went home and cried. It was so hard for her. And she told us this. And she's older. She stuck with it. I can't believe she did. She's like on her 3rd or 4th month now.
Is that right?
Today, I saw her with assistants do 3 pull-ups.
No kidding.
Yes. And she's older. She's like 60. I actually saw her do this, and I was like, wow.
Can that, yeah, that's, I mean, that is real strength there when you can do it.
She's like, I know, I can't do them all the way. I'm like, you can't do them all the way. You couldn't even get up on the bar before.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think that this is the hope that you can do it, and everyone can do it. You can do what you can do. You can do the best of your ability. Okay, you don't have to be a world champion, but you can do it, and there's no reason to quit. The worst thing that I had to hear is, I can't. Well, can you do one?
Right, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Everything starts somewhere.
Okay, how about if you do half of one? And that's how you do it, because to me, everything I put my mind to, I can accomplish. And I think that anyone else can do the same thing.
You know, I wanted to ask you a little bit about the camaraderie that you build with these patients. When you have 15 or 20 Parkinson patients in a group, and you've got to see that, the camaraderie that they build between themselves and the encouragement they give each other.
Well, it's kind of like a support group, and that's part of even the regular gym. I try to make it like that, but the Parkinson's is more like a group, and they know that they're not alone, and they have everyone, because no matter how worse they are, there might be someone even worse, and they can see that, but they also see other people getting better. If they just start and they see people doing incredible things that they can't do yet, but they're going to be able to do them. And everyone there is just really great. They help each other because they get real depressed. People with Parkinson's get depressed, and so they come in. And like sometimes I tell them, like one of the guys said, "Oh, I'm really depressed. I don't want to come in." I went, "Just come and sit. Just come with us."
Yeah.
Well, he came in. For about 3 minutes, he looked at it, so that he's like, "I'm coming in," and then that's it.
I'm gonna give it a try.
And so but that's what we do, and what I do is we have a little saying at the end that I make we huddle up and we go and we say, "Sharp minds, strong bodies, fight back." And that's it's kind of our little mantra that we made up for them.
Right.
And we make it part of them. They have T-shirts, we have everything, and they just become part of they're fighters, and we call them fighters because they are fighting the disease.
Right, and I just should point out too, in the Neurology Now November magazine here, there is quite an article in here about this boxing program that goes on, the K-Fit. Yeah. And this is I think this is a real testimonial to what this can do for Parkinson patients. And if it's good for a Parkinson patient to grow and gain strength, it's got to be great for healthy people.
It really is.
I mean, you know, it's got to help fight off a lot of different things going on. What's the best way for people to get a hold of you, Kenji?
They could go to our website, go to kfitminooka.com. They could even go to my blog at betterlivelives.com, or they could just give us a call. They can drop in. We're in Minooka, right off Twin Rails. I mean, they just want to come look at us up on the website. Come look at a class. Just look.
Right.
Just see. And even if you don't have Parkinson's, even like I said, if you're just older, come look at the people, because we actually have. The more I'm speaking to you, the more I realize how many people that we actually do have and we help.
Yeah, that's great. Kenji, thank you very much for joining us today, Fox Valley Today. We're going to be finishing up a little bit. We're going to go over to 107.1 WSPY FM. So stick with us. We'll see you on the radio. Thank you for joining us.